Mom had 12 brothers and sisters. And she said, Jennifer, the secret of feeding 15 people during the Depression was to make a little bit go a long way. 2 key ideas. She used to buy a little tiny piece of steak, the best possible, and then that steak would flavor the stew that was going to feed 15 people at dinner that evening. So she started with substance, and she made the substance go a long way. You know, the other thing that is still going on in our household is Mom took every napkin and tore it in half so that everybody had enough to dab away that little extra bit of gravy, but nobody wasted an entire napkin at their place. So that habit stayed with Mom. It's taken root in my household, and it's gone all the way down to the next generation with the grandkids. What if we viewed our current economic circumstances as a chance to pass some good, cost-effective habits on to the children of our corporate life so that they can be cost-effective, efficient, and intelligent about the way they run their business for the next 25, 30, maybe 50 years? Could this be an opportunity for us to do it right this time? What we're really forced to discuss in a market such as this is culture. We think a look at the default approach to culture might be worthwhile. And then looking at it by design would be a good idea. And then perhaps we ought to finish up by talking about the fact that the teenagers have taught us that it's not culture until it's everywhere. Now, first, let's talk about culture by default. Meetings, endless meetings, conferences, teleconferences, seminars, print documents, and email on the BlackBerry. We all know about the new leash of the 2000s is the BlackBerry. I would suggest to you that the challenge of all of this omnipresent communication is that it's ad hoc and it's inefficient. We haven't taken a little and stretched it out through all of those lines of communication. We've made every one of those lines of communication start to compete with every other line. Inefficient and ad hoc. Well, now, what if we changed our approach and we said because of financial constraints, we're going to have to make a little bit go a long way, and we're going to have to build culture by design. We're going to start with a couple of seminars, and we're going to take the themes that come out in those seminars that we design, that we build, and we're going to stretch those themes all the way through the year. We're going to start with a seminar. We're going to go to a webinar after that, maybe 2 a year, carrying the same themes that we did in the seminar. After that, we're going to do maybe 2 video teleconference meetings so that people can really get up to date on those themes and relate what's going on today to what we hope to achieve at the beginning of the year. And then maybe we'll add 2 or maybe 3 micro videos, little 6 to 8 minute films talking about some of the themes that came out in that initial seminar. And by the end of the year, we've covered the same ideas, substantial, meaningful ideas, 8 or 10 times. And everybody has been exposed to those ideas more than once. So now we're starting to get culture by design. It's intentional, it's intensive, and wow, is it cost effective, because we haven't had to put everybody in the same room but once. Now, we'd call that a multi-dimensional corporate development model, something new under the sun. And frankly, we think that the necessity of this recession is forcing us to invent that new approach to changing corporate culture. Now, the kids have been teaching us something very powerful. Have you seen everybody text messaging everybody else? If you're under 17, that's the way you communicate these days. And free text messages on your phone plan pretty much attest to the fact that the kids dominate the universe. We'd say the lesson is it's not culture unless it's everywhere. What if we took a page out of the kids' book and we said, we're going to get serious about our corporate strategy. We're going to take a few days and wring it out and make sure we know what we stand for and who we are and where we want to go. Then we're going to spend a couple more days and we're going to really build the best possible story. And then we're going to make sure that we line up all of our lines of communication, field, phones, marketing, web. We're going to get everybody on the same page, and we're going to create one story, many voices. What if we add to that getting it the same on the desktop, on the phone, in print, and we take it all the way down to the architecture and the dress and the style of the organization from top to bottom? That's cost effective and that's everywhere. It must be culture. And that's the point, that it's not culture unless it's everywhere. And if it's going to be everywhere, why don't we design it at the beginning and make that little bit go a long way? Ladies and gentlemen, we really think this is an opportunity, perhaps a golden opportunity, to design our corporation's culture and make it go forward for 20, 30, or 40 years. You know, the last big financial crunch we had in our culture gave us the winners that are still the winners today. Maybe this is an opportunity for you to vault into first place by dint of making culture by design. It's efficient, it's substantial, it's cost effective, and that by definition is good culture.